Valentina, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you very much, Henning, and it is a pleasure to be with you, at least in this hybrid format. I am a bit envious that you are there in, I imagine, a very, very nice setting. Yes, for those who don't know me, my name is Valentina Bacchi, and I work at Photoconsortium, that is one of the veteran aggregators for Europeana. And I would like to tell you something about this EUreka3D initiative that we are coordinating. Thank you very much. EUreka3D started as a data space supporting project funded already in 2023. It just concluded because it ended in December last year. And I would like to share with you some of the project's achievement. Maybe somebody in the room already heard this story because we already presented EUreka3D and its main outcomes in past events of the Aggregators Forum. EUreka3D really would like to support this process of digital transformation of cultural heritage institutions in this new world of 3D cultural heritage, that the Commission is really pushing all of us to, accelerate the pace and do the 3D digitization of heritage collections. So what we created in EUreka3D is really, among the other achievements, a place for cultural heritage institutions to really manage the data, metadata, and paradata that derive from the digitization process. So once the object has been digitized in 3D, what do I do with this object? And the EUreka3D Data Hub tries to offer a solution. A fancy term would be a one-stop shop solution. So really an integrated platform that allows cultural heritage institutions to manage, store, share their 3D collection with a direct entry gate to Europeana. So in this platform, you can really upload your models, visualize them in a viewer, share metadata and paradata, and publish this in Europeana. This was, let's say, the main and most visible outcome of EUreka3D. The platform exists, it's still open and sustainable. So if you wish to test it and try it, you're welcome to contact me and I will let you access it. But certainly this work was supported with a capacity building program of events and creation of open access resources, which run across the 2 years, 2023-2024, and is still available on the project website and in Zenodo. Particularly useful, I would say, for cultural heritage institutions are the case studies and the 3D digitization guidelines that we really derived from the real experience of cultural heritage institutions who approached, in some cases for the first time, 3D digitization. So the entire story of their challenges, the solutions that they discovered, and the new knowledge that was created in institutions with 3D digitization and 3D management for these collections. And as an element of the project outcomes, EUreka3D published over 350 models in 3D in Europeana with the open licenses and also a collection of accompanying documents, so more classical 2D collections. And we also told these stories in editorials that are available in Europeana and Europeana Pro. Next slide, please. Yes, and this image, perhaps some of you already saw it, really tries to summarize the entire workflow that in EUreka3D we tried to cover. So from the capture, the real digitization process to be done in high quality by cultural heritage institutions that generates data, metadata, and paradata of the 3D object, of the cultural object which was digitized in 3D. Then this information can be uploaded in a cloud, that is the Eureka3D Data Hub. This is an infrastructure that is based on EGI, the European Grid Initiative. So it is a platform that is based on cloud provided in Europe by the national providers, non-for-profit. So it is a solution alternative to other commercial solutions. And it is a platform where, there is a safe authorization and authentication mechanism. So cultural heritage institutions can really decide the level of access to their data. And it is also a collaborative platform where data can be shared also to other groups, also outside the cultural heritage institutions. In this cloud, there is also the possibility to either input or upload via an API services metadata already in EDM, Europeana Data Model format, to associate this with a PID, persistent identifier. It is provided by the service of EU.B2Handle, and to publish this in Europeana. So there is this viewer that is embedded in Europeana, and which allows Europeana users to really discover and view this model. And also to access to other resources like direct links for the download of the data, the download of Paradata report. I saw the question by Tamara in the chat, what is Paradata? Paradata is the information that accompanies a 3D model and that really certifies, let's say, the digitization process. So it is an important and complementary information that accompanies 3D model. So the metadata are the information about the object, the paradata are the information about the digitization process. Next slide, please. And here I would like to show you some examples from the 3D models that were created in the context of EUreka3D project. You see very different types of objects from an entire archaeological or monument site, you see in the middle a monastery, to archaeological artifacts, to reconstruction of objects which do not exist anymore. And also Photoconsortium has this, angle-on photography. So the collection includes very nice photographic and pre-cinema objects. And I would like to point you to a very nice thing, I would say. So you see in this slide that the objects are posed against background of different colors. So this is a very new, simple feature of the EUreka3D viewer that allows the user in Europeana to change the color background for the object. So according and basing on the texture of the object, some are more visible against a darker background or a lighter background. So this is a feature to improve the way that the models are visualized in the 3D model. Next slide, please. Yes, as I said, the EUreka3D concluded in December, but the continuation process project has just started in February, and EUreka3D-XR is really a continuation project that expands the features and the work of EUreka3D in the direction of reusing 3D collections in XR applications. So we are trying really to cover the entire story, the entire workflow, from digitization to storage and sharing. And then now, what do we do with these 3D collections? We can reuse them in compelling narratives, immersive experiences that benefit different types of users and stakeholders. So what EUreka3D-XR is already doing is to develop 5 tools available for cultural heritage institutions and 3 different case studies, or better, XR scenarios, to demonstrate the use of these tools in enhancing and reusing 3D models for compelling user experience. We will also do some more capacity building, so events, resources. This is certainly complementary to the technical work and the other activities in the project. Next slide, please. So briefly, these 5 tools, what are? The first 2 that you see in this slide are both created by the National Technical University of Athens and are 2 connected, let's say, tools. One is an online editor for creating custom AR tools that retrieve 3D objects from repositories like the EUreka3D Data Hub or Europeana and associated them with a location on a map. This tour created via this online tool can be accessed on location via a mobile app. So the user that is, say, in an archaeological site and is visiting the archaeological site with the mobile app as the map and can visualize and superimpose, let's say, the 3D model on the real life scenario and on the real, let's say, archaeological site. The third tool that you see enlisted in this slide is a 3D modeling software pipeline that recreates models from archival materials, heritage photographs, maps, any other information that is preserved in archives to recreate 3D models of things or buildings that do not exist anymore. There is a lot of work in this direction, we know, because 3D reconstruction is an important part of the digital transformation of cultural heritage, and this tool is an easy-to-use tool provided by company Swing IT, that is a spin-off of the University of Catania. Another tool that is created by Swing IT is a web-based editor for AR/XR experiences with predefined layouts. So while the tool from NTUA is something that can be used by visitors on location on a website, this other tool that we are offering is for creating experiences that can be both accessed on location and online via browser. And finally, the 5th but not last in terms of interest is this digital human characters creator that is a tool produced by Miralab, a spin-off company from the University of Geneva in Switzerland, that really recreates, I would call them avatar, with a simple term, of characters to animate cultural heritage sites. Next slide, please. And as I said, these 5 tools will be used in pilot applications to demonstrate how they work and to evaluate them with users to, collect feedback on the, usefulness and how they are appealing. And these scenarios are 3, set in 3 different locations. In Girona, what we are doing is a virtual visualization of the Middle Ages walls of the city. Girona is a very ancient city. The shape of the buildings and the city has changed a lot in the course of centuries. What we are doing here is to start from archival records, so drawings, heritage images, maps, to recreate how the walls of the city looked like in the Middle Ages. And this is a scientific reconstruction that is based on archival records and proofread information that feeds the 3D reconstruction, in this case of the walls of the city. The second scenario is set in Bibracte, that is an archaeological site, a museum in France. Here, the idea is to help visitors of this archaeological site who walk in this very big site to understand the process of the excavation of this site. So, as you know, there are different layers in excavations, different stories to be told, and sometimes for a visitor it is difficult to imagine or to understand all these processes. So the scenario in BBRACT will provide an XR narrative of the excavations. And finally, the third scenario is set in Cyprus, in a very ancient monastery that is carved in stone. It is a very interesting heritage site, also at risk because it is set in a seismic zone. So, well, there was already a digitization in 3D of the entire, let's say, monastery in this cave. This is already existing and accessible also online. But what we are going to do in this pilot in EUreka3D-XR is to recreate the life in this monastery. So there was this Saint Neophytos, who lived in this cave together with his monks. And the visitor in the cave, physical person in the physical place, will meet avatars of the saint and of his monks, and hear stories from them that tell really about the cultural heritage of this site and the stories of. So there is a lot of work that is currently ongoing. The beta versions or prototypes of the tools and the scenario are expected around October, and the prototypes will be presented in a demo event in Girona in January. And the final results will be shown in Cyprus at the end of the project in the summer 2026 in a very nice event in the context of the EU presidency of the Republic of Cyprus. Next slide, and I think is the last one. Yes, I said before that we will do some work also to, not only disseminate what the project is doing, but to build capacity. So I would like to share with you some information about the next events. At the end of May, there will be this hybrid event in Florence. We are hosted in a very prestigious location. It is Villa Salviati, the premises of the Historical Archives of the European Union. And here we will really have a seminar talking about how to bring together archives and digital for new ways of engaging with different stakeholders. So this is coming at the end of May, 29th of May. Registrations will open soon. In September, there will be organized by our partners of MEMO, the Flanders Institute for Archives, an hybrid event in Brussels. It will be really more focused on capacity building, so it will also have more interactive and really training activities. The program will be announced very soon. And in the fall, ideally in November, very early December, we are organizing training activities composed of 3 webinars in collaboration with ICA, the International Council on Archives. So this will be a training activity in 3 parts, but there will also be, accessible streaming to hear about the presentations of the experts and the speakers. So there is a lot of work ongoing. I invite you to follow us on the project website, that is the project website of EUreka3D, to register to our newsletter. And certainly if you want to contact me and reach out to me for anything, if you want to try the Eureka3D data hub, for example, you are very welcome. And that is all on my side.